Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 232 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. For the latest weekly news of the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, college sports, WNBA, this is the podcast to be. The Winnipeg Jets have signed Adam Lowry, their captain, to a 5-year deal, $25 million AAV, which does annual an average of $5 million per season. And I like this a lot for the Winnipeg Jets for the main reasons that one, he's the captain and has been one of the Jets' long-term players here, or long tenure players. That's more the correct term. And and he's always been a very solid forward for the Jets, and I like how he always leads by example for this Winnipeg Jets team and throughout his entire career. And I also like, even though he's got a few points in 7 games because he did just come back from injury, I do believe the Jets have potential to win a Stanley Cup. As of right now, they're tied for third place in the Central Division with the Chicago Blackhawks, only behind the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. I think the Jets are Stanley Cup capable, but they are also going to have to rely on goaltender Connor Hellebuyck, even though last playoffs that did not really seem to happen. So I like this move a lot for the Winnipeg Jets, that they get to basically keep their captain. Adam Lowry is basically going to be a Winnipeg Jet for life. All right, we got a baseball trade to talk about that was interesting to say the least. Between the Baltimore Orioles and the Los Angeles Angels. The Baltimore Orioles have traded starting pitcher Grayson Rodriguez for outfielder Taylor Ward. Very, very interesting for both sides. Now, what I don't understand is yes, for the Angels' point of view, they should be rebuilding. They should free Mike Trout. I doubt they're going to do that. But at least this is a step for them to acquire pitcher Grayson Rodriguez, who is he is a young pitcher and he will be a good pitching leader along with Yusei Kikuchi in this young Los Angeles Angels pitching staff. Now, it's also no surprise that, yes, Taylor Ward had a phenomenal year for the Los Angeles Angels, and they're trading him to the Baltimore Orioles, which I'm very curious to see how he's going to pan out in the outfield. So, for the Angels' point of view, I like this because while, yes, it's no shock that they traded Taylor Ward, it was just a matter of when and what team. And the way that I hope it's a rebuild and I hope it's a start in the direction. But the other thing I wish the Angels would have done is acquire one of their top prospects in return. Like, but this is kind of an interesting way to start the offseason, I guess. Now, for the Orioles' point of view, yes, Taylor Ward will bring a good bat. Taylor Ward, he hit 36 home runs. He almost had a 40 home run season for the Angels last year. But should the Orioles focus on pitching? Now, unless if they're going to go one after the big free agent names or even try go after Tariq Skubal, fine, I guess, but I'm having a hard time understanding their thought process because the Orioles pitching last year was terrible. And I mean, really, really bad. Dare I say it's just as bad or worse than the 2025 Colorado Rockies and the 2024 Chicago White Sox. Heck, I'll go as far as to say it's even worse than the Oakland Athletics back in 2023 and 2022. Even as bad as the 2012 Chicago Cubs. Why do I mention the 2012 Chicago Cubs? Because that was the last season they finished with a 100 loss. And, yeah, decent bat by Ward. He'll be a good player for the Orioles, but I don't get the thought of why trading your young, dare I say, best pitcher all of last season in Grayson Rodriguez to a team in Los Angeles that just does not seem to know the direction they're going. And who knows? Taylor Ward, could he potentially have 40 home runs? Sure. Even if the Orioles were to extend him, he'll have what? six, seven, 40 home run seasons, I guess. I don't understand this one. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this trade on Twitter at Billman Sports, Instagram at Billman Sports Guy, and here on YouTube at Billman Sports Guy. All right, we are going to do our NFL power rankings heading into week 12 of the NFL season. It's pretty wild that we're almost all the way through the season. All right, number 32, same spot as last week, is the Tennessee Titans. There's not a lot to say. The roster construct, the defense, just they couldn't even beat a CJ Stroudless Houston Texans. That's how bad it was. Number 31, same spot as last week, the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, the Browns almost won, but at the same time almost didn't show up against the Baltimore Ravens. And it's going to be very interesting to see how Schrader Sanders is going to do because he is making his first NFL debut this coming Sunday. Number 30, same spot as last week, the Las Vegas Raiders. Just a bad year overall. At this point, I wouldn't be shocked if Max Crosby gets dealt, but not a good year for the Raiders, safe to say. Number 29, dropping one spot from last week, the New York Jets. After picking up a win against the Cleveland Browns, or the Jets, sorry, against the Patriots, another team that's fan base has had a ton of misery. Number 28, going up one spot from last week, the New Orleans Saints. Even though they had a bye week, but we know they're still not going to finish the year really good. Number 27, dropping one spot from last week, the Washington Commanders. Yeah, injury riddled year for the Commanders. Oh, whoa, okay. And they basically blew the game against the Miami Dolphins. Defense didn't look that great. Debo Samuel had a good game. Marcus Mariota did fine, but I think the Commanders need to do everything to stay healthy next season. Number 26, dropping two spots from last week, the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals weren't really a show against the Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, safe to say the Bengals really need Joe Burrow back. Boy, do they. Number 25, going up two spots from last week, the New York Giants. The Giants almost lost to the Green Bay. Well, they almost won against the Green Bay Packers, but they blew it. Let's see what this offseason is going to look like for the New York Giants because things are not looking bright in New York. Number 24, dropping two spots from last week, the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, the performance explains it against the San Francisco 49ers, and they really need to pick a direction. Are they going to rebuild or are they going to contend? I don't know. Number 23, the Atlanta Falcons. They're young Falcons, but I hope Michael Penix Jr. recovers because he's so good when healthy. Number 22, dropping four spots from last week, the Minnesota Vikings. Or should we refer to them as the Minnesota Frauds? Because even if the Vikings somehow make a miracle, make it to the postseason, but we know they're not going to go far, it's Minnesota. When was the last time their sport teams have had a true playoff run? Can anybody comment? Leave me in the comments. I don't know. Number 20, number 21, going dropping. Where is it? All right. Well, the Dallas Cowboys land at number 21. Yeah, they go up two spots actually. Yeah, Cowboys really gave it to them against the Las Vegas Raiders. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens did great. but still not impressed with the Cowboys. Number 20, going up one spot from last week, the Carolina Panthers. Actually, I lied. Three. No. I had it right. Up by one. The Panthers just got away with the win against the Michael Penix Jr.-less Atlanta Falcons. Now with Kirk Cousins. But hey, I think we're going to see a positivity sign of direction. And I think Bryce Young keeps getting better and better for the Carolina Panthers. Number 19, going up one spot from last week, or number 20, staying at the same spot, funny enough, the Miami Dolphins. Hey, they came back and won against the Jane Daniels Washington Commanders. I'll give it to them, but I'm curious to see how they're going to finish this season on a positive note. Number 19. Actually, I lied. That was 19, so they did go up by one. Okay, never mind. Number 18. Dropping 6 spots from last week, the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, what happened there, Kansas City? You guys had the lead and then you blew it to the Denver Broncos. And the Kansas City Chiefs are now in a wild card spot or just outside of the wild card. I don't think anybody had that in their bingo card for this season. Number 17, dropping 6 spots from last week, the Los Angeles Chargers. Wow. The Chargers just did not had it. Really bad game overall against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I honestly hope they rebound. At number 16, I have the Houston Texans. Just got away with a win against the Tennessee Titans, but what can this Texans team look like for the rest of the season? Number 15, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, the Jaguars have been making a bit of noise this season, and, maybe they'll make the playoffs. Let's see if they can do that. Number 14, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They go up 2 spots from last week. Yeah, while they got an impressive win against their divisional rival, the Cincinnati Bengals, but Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Now Mason Rudolph is expected to start against the Chicago Bears, which, yeah, let's hope the injury's not long-term, or else Pittsburgh's in a lot of trouble. Number 13, the Baltimore Ravens. They really took it to the Cleveland Browns, and can they bounce back and make the playoffs? Let's just see. Number 12 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were really a no-show against the Buffalo Bills. It was sort of felt like a high-scoring game at times, but they would go on to lose by 12. Number 11, dropping 6 spots from last week, is the Detroit Lions. Not just them, but the Philadelphia Eagles. This game really felt a bit of a mess, but the Eagles really took it to them. All right, and number 10, I have the 49ers. Happy that they won, but I don't know what this team's going to look like for the rest of the season. They're so injury prone. Number 9, the Chicago Bears. Kudos to the Bears. They got a win. It was not an easy game, but they fought back and won. So many close games, but the offense has to clean it up if they're going to go on a deep postseason run. Number 8, the Denver Broncos. Hey, they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a good thing to sign, especially they beat a divisional rival. Number 7, Green Bay Packers. Almost blew it, but they won against the New York Giants. So that's a bit of a sigh of relief. But we got the Vikings next. Let's see how we do against them. Number 6, the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't have to talk too much about the Eagles. Well, they did pull off and won, but it's the same thing I said about the Detroit Lions. Number 5, the Indianapolis Colts. They had a bye week, but let's see how they finish the season on a positive note. Number 4 is the New England Patriots. Surprise team. That's all I got to say. Number 3 is the Seattle Seahawks. Good back and forth game against the Los Angeles Rams, but the Rams pull off with the win. And speaking of the Rams, they're at number 2 because, they fought hard against the Seattle Seahawks. And hey, they won. Last but not least, number 1, I think the best team heading into Week 12 is the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, dare I say he's an MVP candidate this year, and I liked the way they played against the Buccaneers. That is all for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in to episode number 232 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. For the latest weekly news, the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, college sports, and WNBA, this is the podcast to be. Have a good evening, everyone. Stay tuned for episode number 233. Peace.